Hello everyone, welcome to Appsmith Work, a new approach to business software. So business software is changing because the way that teams do work is changing. Today, teams require multiple highly customized interfaces tailored to every task. But with AI, teams are moving towards a single unified interface where you can perform a multitude of tasks. With this shift, the next wave of AI applications require new data sources that interface with LLMs and will replace traditional relational databases as a primary backend. Along with that, user interactions are also going to evolve from being tabular in nature to now becoming conversational in nature. And along with this, a lot of existing applications are going to be upgraded with the introduction of AI. But we also see that there's going to be an emerging new set of applications required to monitor, manage, and edit LLM responses. We believe that these shifts will make low code platforms more relevant than ever because they simplify interacting with LLM data sources as well as building custom UI on top of them, such as chat like functionality. And what's more, you can even create AI workflows with humans in the loop. At Appsmith, we're focused on helping teams build, deploy, and manage the next wave of AI powered business software. Now, first, I want to talk about LLM data sources. Today, we already make it really easy for you to integrate with all the public facing LLMs such as OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic. But now, you can even self host your own open source LLM along with your Appsmith deployment. This ensures that all of your data is secure because it's deployed on premise. We've also made it really easy for you to prototype AI interactions by enabling RAG out of the box. This means that you can just take all of your knowledge base articles and drop them inside the AI data source, and it will begin giving you contextual responses. The next thing I want to talk about is our integrated Postgres database. Today, most Appsmith deployments require a dedicated Mongo instance. But we've understood that we want to simplify this particular deployment. And so, as of now, we're replacing the default Mongo database required for self-hosting with a Postgres one, which means that this also simplifies your managed hosting options for an external database. The Postgres DB also doubles up as a built-in vector store, which means that all of the knowledge base articles that you use can actually be stored inside it for the RAG implementation. This ensures that all of your knowledge base is also deployed along with your Appsmith instance and is securely self-hosted. And lastly, I want to talk about Appsmith workflows. Workflows are a unique take on serverless execution, and they enable you to create complex human-in-the-loop workflows. The first big update to workflows is that we're enabling scheduled job support. This means that you can actually create long-lived jobs that have to run at a specific time and can be completed over hours or even days. The next big update is that workflows are now broadly available to all business and enterprise edition customers. So give it a try and let us know what you think. Well, let's jump into our demo now. A common workflow that we see built on top of AI is a simple Slack support bot. With this workflow, employees can interact with a support bot inside Slack to get their work done and ask it questions about the company. Let's see what this looks like. As you can see, this is a Slack interface. And here, I'm going to go ahead and tag the bot and ask it what our company leave policy is. What happens in this particular workflow is that the Slack message is going to the support bot, and the support bot is talking to OpenAI. And at the same time, the knowledge documents that we've added for the company policies have been stored inside the Postgres vector database so that the support bot can actually respond with an AI contextual response. Let's see how it did. So we've gotten a response from the support bot. And here we can see that the support bot has actually returned the entire list of leave policies that we've updated to it. And what's really great about this particular support bot is not just the fact that it's extremely contextual, but also that it's quite easy to build. Let me show you how. So this is our Appsmith workflow editor, and we have a settings panel here where a webhook trigger has been created, and this webhook is configured in Slack such that whenever somebody tags the support bot, it calls this workflow. So when the webhook is triggered, it begins to execute this function, and with just 2 lines of code, we're able to create a support bot. The first line of code is to trigger the Ask AI query, which is our own integrated AI data source that works with OpenAI. You can see that the prompt is to behave as a support bot that reads the knowledge files and answers the questions. All of these knowledge files are also uploaded to the support bot, and it's stored inside the vector DB, so it's giving you RAG out of the box. Once the AI response is received, we then go ahead and trigger the send Slack message query to reply back as the bot, and therefore we're able to create a support bot-like workflow with just about 2 lines of code. But that's not all. What if we want to do more with this support bot? What if we also want to go ahead and take actions and even bring humans into the loop? Because we all understand that AI is actually probabilistic, and we'd like to ensure that humans can also be involved in this entire workflow. So extending this demo, let's go ahead and add and ask the support bot, how can I file a bug? Now, what the support bot is going to do in this instance is it's going to go ahead and ask the knowledge base for that information, but it's also going to allow the user to request for access to Jira. So we've told it that Jira is how you go ahead and file a bug inside Appsmith. And what it's going to do is, because we require approval to get access to Jira, it's going to notify the manager of this particular request. And then we can go ahead and see how the manager can review that request in an Appsmith app and then grant Jira access. This is an approval workflow that we've created. So let's see how the support bot does this. So the support bot has replied saying to file a bug, please use Jira. So it's got that right. And it's also created a custom button that I can use to request Jira access. So let's go ahead and do that. As soon as I requested Jira access, you'll notice that in our demo approval channel, I actually got a request that access has been requested by Nikhil Nandagopal. So it's able to notice that it's able to notify the manager for the access request, and then the manager can click here, can hit review, and can go ahead and review all of the access requests in a single UI. So in this Appsmith application, we've connected to the workflow's approval requests, and now the manager can go ahead and approve or reject this request from a single interface. Let's head on back to the bot. We can now see that the bot has also replied that once the manager has gone ahead and granted them access, it said that the access has been granted. And so with this, we can effectively bring in humans into this AI workflow and orchestrate the entire workflow with a few lines of code. Let's see how that looks like. So heading back into our workflow demo, let's look at what the approval workflow code looks like. So we've built on top of our previous example of using the AI response on Ask AI, and we've simply run a new query to classify the user query. Depending on whether the user is actually asking for access to a software. So we've said that if they're asking for access to a specific piece of software, let's classify the input as that piece of software. Once we have that, we're sending the user a Slack message along with a button inside of it so that they can request for access. When the user clicks the button, What happens is this workflow is executed again with the else condition because we know that they require software access. And then we're able to go ahead and notify the manager in a single line of code, as well as create an approval request with just a single line of code. So Appsmith also provides you with a built-in function to assign a request to any user on the platform, which simplifies bringing that human into the loop as an approver. So here I've created an approve access type of request, and I've assigned it to myself with resolutions as approve and reject. And this is automatically queryable inside the Appsmith application where the approver can look at all the open requests. Once the approver has approved this request, the workflow will resume, and if the resolution is to approve, it will send a Slack message that it's been granted, otherwise it's been rejected. So what you'll also notice about this is that this approval step has now been made synchronous, which means the workflow can actually execute for as long as we'd like. And that's not all. The one thing we know about LLMs is that they can often get things wrong. But that's no reason to be discouraged because one of the ways to think about monitoring LLMs is with another LLM. And so in this example, what we've done is we've created a support monitoring bot that's going to look at and review all the responses from the original support bot and flag the ones that didn't do so well. So let's have a look at that in our Slack channel. So we have a monitoring demo bot channel where the bot has already monitored some of the previous responses, and it said that a user was unhappy with the bot's response. The summary was that the user is inquiring about the company policy and reimbursements and was unable to provide that information. All right, let's have a look at this thread just to understand what really happened over there. So when we click this, we can notice that this is the actual thread that they were talking about. And once I asked it about the company policy, it says we could not retrieve this information. And this is quite frustrating for me. And that's why the bot was able to flag that this was a poor response. So with being able to flag this, an admin at this point can go ahead and open up their Appsmith app and update the knowledge base with new information because the company policy around reimbursements is not currently there inside the knowledge base. And so the admin can take that as an action item to improve the knowledge base and thereby make the bot smarter. So how this works underneath the hood is that we're using our new schedule job feature, which is going ahead and every day fetching all the Slack threads and passing them to OpenAI. It's then classifying the frustrated threads and notifying the support manager only for the threads which it thinks the bot did not do a good job. The manager is then able to review the incorrect responses from the bot and go to the Appsmith app and update the documentation. Once the documentation is updated, it's then sent back to the vector DB, and therefore the bot becomes smarter and can answer questions in the future. Let's have a look at what this looks like. So inside our support monitoring workflow, we now are using the schedule trigger. So previously we were using the webhook that was connected to Slack, but in this example, we're actually using the schedule trigger feature so that it runs every night at 12 a.m. So every night when the bot runs, what happens is it goes ahead and fetches the daily threads and then iterates over them. It then fetches all the messages that are there for a single thread, and it's able to create a message array of the entire conversation history. It then passes that to AI to summarize it as well as to flag all of the bad replies. We can look at what bad replies means here. So what we've said is that if the user is dissatisfied, satisfied, or neutral, simply classify this message array depending on that. And so we are basically looking for if the user was dissatisfied, let's go ahead and notify the admin of that particular thread along with the summary of the overall response so that the admin can now take an action. So as you can see, with just a few lines of code, we can even create a monitoring bot that can overlook other LLM responses and therefore bring in humans to modify it, improve the prompts as well as the knowledge base, and keep making your bots a lot smarter. And honestly, that's not all. We've also heard a lot of your feedback about Git performance, and we're making some improvements here. But we're not just making marginal improvements, we're making dramatic improvements with a launch of a fully native GitHub integration feature. This feature is going to make drastic improvements to the Git operations and allow you to sync very large, complicated applications to your Git repos. So, with that, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We are fully committed to helping developers easily build, deploy, and manage the next wave of AI powered applications. And we're excited to embark on this journey with you so that we can start building together. So, we're looking forward to all the amazing applications that you build with us. Please reach out and let us know what you